Hello and welcome to Apex Instant Tips episode number 93. Most folks are used to some sort of intro, but as it turns out, I'm running the show today and I can't figure out how to do it. Usually I have people, I have a huge staff, Hayden. You know this. I've got a staff of people that are usually running the show behind me, but today it's just me. So
you gave them the day off.
Yeah. And this show is going to last for hours because I'm not going to be able to figure out how to end it either. But Hayden, welcome back to Apex Instant Tips. Glad you're here today. Go ahead.
Yeah. Another great and provocative tip for our viewers today.
Yeah, I think this one is fun. We have essentially 5 tips, but they all have a theme, and it's really the theme, and the one real tip is when you're looking at how to build your own application and design your own application, looking to the Apex builder and the Apex application itself for design inspiration is a great approach.
The Apex builder is one of the most mature Apex applications that exist. So it has a few things figured out, and it's worthy of your attention from a design standpoint.
Yeah, the Apex team, they hire UI experts. I mean, the name Shakib, right, is on everybody's lips, I'm sure, when we're talking. And they spend a lot of time making sure that the tool itself works well and has nice design. And the other great thing about it is if you take inspiration from the tool, you can do it, right? Because Apex is built with Apex. So, yeah.
We've isolated 5 different design features that we're going to run through at a pretty quick pace. We're not going to go much into the mechanics of like how they might be implemented, but I think that we may go into it in future tips. Today is just about essentially calling out design.
Yeah. And so here we go. I'll add my thing to the screen. I'll hit go. And Hayden, what's the first one I should head to?
So right off the bat, I think many of us have dense applications in which we're trying to expose the data from tables. The object browser has this figured out. So the object browser allows us to toggle between different object database object types, and then toggle between different things and present different menus. So it's a real masterclass on like how to present dense data.
I think it's great. Certainly, this is someplace we all go, and we all probably just glance over it. But from a design perspective, I think it's really helpful.
And I know we're talking about design, but like, could you speculate, Anton, about like what the mechanics behind this page might be if someone wanted to implement it?
Yeah, well, I can speculate that there's a billion lines of custom code. But today, I would actually harken back to episode 67, where we talk about one report to rule them all. And I think you could do a lot of what you see here using episode 67 as your guide for getting a lot of this information. I think you'd actually get a better experience, especially on the data tab.
Right.
If you use episode 67.
If viewers will remember that the key feature there was dynamic headings.
That's right. So the next one I want to point out.
Now your turn, Anton. What is a feature that you want to call out?
Yeah. So number 2, I think the idea that these menus, they have a lot you can get to really quickly, but they also, if you click on the menu heading, give you another navigation approach. It gives you a little dashboarding and so forth, and then some quick things you can do on the right. I like this kind of navigation where your top level thing brings you to a landing page, and then you can still navigate to the same kinds of things you would have otherwise.
Yeah. Redundant is not a bad thing in design.
Yeah, and you've got the search capability as well for people who like to search differently. It's another approach.
Which actually brings me to the third design feature that I think we should take inspiration from. The Apex workspace is replete with cool hotkeys. So were you to, Anton, type Control-Tick on your keyboard, it'll summon the search bar. So that's just one of many shortcuts that's available in the workspace. If the application you're building is expecting people to use it a lot and frequently, then I think you can do them the favor of building in some hotkeys, and we can cover in a different episode how to do that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I actually somewhere Apex hotkeys. So the next one I'm going to jump to, so this would be number 4, I think, is everybody has lookup values. We have table and table, and we build screens to maintain our lookup values. Oh, Rich, is there a shortcut that shows all shortcuts? That would be beautiful. Oh, I need that. If one doesn't exist, we got to get it. Anyway, sorry. So there's probably a way that I can put that on the screen, but I don't know how. Oh, there it is. Sorry. So I have a few moments. We do all kinds of lookup values. Essentially shared components here. These are lookup values. Everything you look in here is lookup values. And they've kind of figured it out. No matter which one of these you click on, you get a screen that looks a lot like this. And it's great. Imagine you have a project management tool, and each project is in an industry. Your industry would be a lookup. And you'd have a list of industries, higher ed, manufacturing, etc. And you'd want to be able to edit them. But in addition to editing them, you might want to know which ones are unused, right? Yeah. So you got this, which ones have other capabilities, that list of them. And the other thing that I love, though, is this right here. What actually references it? So if you clicked on this, let's say your industry was higher ed, you could click on here and you could see everything, all of your projects that are in higher ed. So I really like this from that design perspective.
Yeah, you could dispense with the challenges of deleting parent-child relationships and data.
That's right. And this brings us to our last one, and I have 40 seconds to talk about it, which is not enough. But I'm going to say this navigation bar across the top, it's the same, even though each of these is a different application.
So when you go to each 4,000, I can see.
We are. And if we click on SQL Workshop, it would take us to application 4,500. Team development would take us to application 4,600. All I'm going to say is that navigation menu can be shared. And so I actually built an application like that. And I'm going to show it really quickly. Here, it's 2 different applications, but they look almost identical the way they behave. And in fact, I've added this test right here as an additional one. So if I come, and I'm out of time, but you know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to show it anyway. If I come back to my builder, this test right here, the key here, and this is if you're doing a shared navigation menu, right here, you have to edit the and app ID and put the actual ID or the alias, AT93 in this case, and apply that change. When you do that, now you can publish that. This is fairly new, the ability to subscribe to lists like this. I can now publish that. So we saw it wasn't in the other application. It was only in this application. But if I go ahead and click publish it to the other application, now I can go home or away, and it's in both.
Nice.
So that's an implementation tip that I thought was valuable, because just getting that's all it really takes, is to make sure that you get the right application ID and use the alias and hard code it in. So we took a full extra minute, but the truth is we didn't have the intro. We don't have exit music. If I can figure out how to end broadcast, we can probably save that extra minute.
Also, let's leave the channel open. We'll come back here next Friday.
So let's see. I don't see. This is a great. Brian has an interesting comment here, which I think I have the answer to. So the first country, is the chicken versus the egg. So this is really funny, because I can remember very early on when I worked at Oracle, writing insert statements into the underlying. It wasn't called Apex back then. I had to write insert statements in to create tabs across the top. There was no user interface to create a tab. I inserted into the table to create a tab. So that's
and to answer Rich's question earlier, did we get an answer? It's Option Shift F1.
Oh, Option.
So Rich asked, is there a way to summon the list of available shortcuts?
And you said it's Option Shift F1.
I'll direct you to it. Okay. So open a page in the builder.
Okay.
and click on the question mark in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay.
So it says keyboard shortcuts,
Option Shift.
F1. But
There it is.
that might have some dependency. The F1, I know that Macs allow you to optionally use the F1 keys for different purposes. So there might be some computer configuration that's necessary.
Oh, that I did not, and it's great that it's right here as well, though. At least I can get to it this way.
Yeah.
And I do use, there are a few that I know, but clearly I don't know all of those. That's very, very handy list. Hayden, I actually got about 80% into preparing a wisdom of the week this week and got called to another meeting. So I'm going to save it for another week and not give folks a half-baked wisdom of the week. Anything from you?
No, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving last Friday, and that everyone's winter season is off to a good start.
All right. Well, we're short wisdom of the week. We have no intro, no ending. So, this is one of our shortest shows. People have only wasted a perfectly good 12 minutes. But I'll say do all the things. I don't have any of the icons or any of that stuff either. But make sure you tell your mom about the show. She's going to love this one.
Yes, it's one of our best.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.